So the first thing you want to do is try to use the order operations to condense everything. So right here we have a x plus 3 in the parentheses, and these are not like terms, so you can't go any further. So what you have to do is apply the distributive property. Since this says 4 times the sum of x and 3, you have to multiply 4 times x and multiply 4 times 3. Remember, parentheses means multiplication. So since the 4 is connected to this whole set of parentheses, you have to distribute the 4 into both of these terms. Now remember, a term is separated by a plus or minus sign. So when I multiply this, I'm going to get 4 times x plus 4 times 3 is 12. And I'm just going to bring down everything else. And now I want to go ahead and combine my like terms. So like terms must have the same variable raised to the same power. So the only variable that I have here is an x. So I have an x 3 times. But in order to be like terms, you have to have the same variable, not only just the same variable, but raised to the same power. So this exponent right here, this variable has an exponent of 2. So I have x to the x squared, or x to the second power. And then I have x right here. Since there is no number, you can automatically put a 1 there, just like you can put a 1 in front of the x, because 1 times x is still x. So I have x to the first power here, and I have x to the first power here. So because these are the same variable, but they have different exponents, they are not like terms. So my only like terms is going to be this plus, and you always want to keep the sign, plus 5 times x and plus 4 times x. These are my like terms because they have the same variable raised to the same power. So when I combine that, now remember, you can factor out, so I have 4 times x plus 5 times x, and they're both positive. So you can factor out the x. So if I factor out the x, it'll be the coefficients for 4 plus 5, and I'm factoring out the x. So because it says 4 times x plus 5 times x, so I factored out the common factor. And then I'm going to combine 4 plus 5, which is 9, and then 9 needs to be multiplied by x, right? So this is equivalent to 9 times x. And you can just add the coefficients 5 plus 4. Then I'm going to bring down everything I didn't use. And this is positive, so I'm going to put a plus sign in front of it. And I have 20 times x squared. And I'm going to bring down now I use these two. I'm going to bring down my plus 12 and my minus 2. Now I want to combine my constants. So I have positive 12, and I want to take away 2, and that's going to give me a total of 10. Then I'm going to bring down everything I did not use, and that 10 is positive. Since 12 is greater in absolute value, it's going to be the sign that we keep. And we have 9 times x plus 20 times x, and this is the furthest we can take this. None of these are like terms, so this is simplest form. We have a variable x to the second power, and we have a variable x to the first power, not like terms, different exponents. And then right here we have a constant. A constant is a term that's not being multiplied by a variable. It's going to stay consistent. So you'll leave it like this. You will not combine these. You will not add 20 plus 9 plus 10. That is completely wrong because they are not like terms. You can only add and subtract like terms, just like you can only add and subtract when you have a common denominator. Now when it comes to multiplication and division, that's different. Just like when it comes to multiplication and division of fraction, it's different than adding and subtracting fractions. So you want to kind of remember the rules.